Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. What's up? Hey, Shamara.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So, welcome back to another Saturday of Entrepreneur Life, where we air every Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn on one of your very favorite podcasts. And I'm your host, Rose from McDonald Bookkeeping Services, and I'm here with...
I am your co-host with SWHR Consulting. And we are so excited about today's show because it's going to be talking about food. Food, which is my favorite pastime. We have
food!
Yes. We have a special guest today. His name, he goes by Chef Plum. He was featured on Food Network, ABC The Taste, Jamie Oliver's Food Tube, Hallmark, New York Times, many more places to mention, but he's going to tell us all about that.
Because we can do no justice.
Yes, he is a multiple-time winner on the Food Network, making over 10 appearances, which is exciting, meaning he can cook, and I'm excited about that. Where he won on Chopped, open basket, which was great. He has a passion for what he does. Simple, easy farm food, believing in great food doesn't make anything in gimmicks. So his whole thing is to bring forth natural in the way that he cooks, and I'm excited to bring it up on the show. He can tell you all about it.
Okay, here we go. Yeah! Woo! He's here!
What's up, friends? How are you? Greetings from the wonderful state of Connecticut, about 50 miles outside of New York City, living the dream in quarantine right now. It's raining, it's cold, but at least it's not snowing, so that's what I'm happy about.
Let me tell you.
We're so excited to have you on the show because I'm a foodie and I love food. So I'm excited to hear all about what you do and what you cook and, the natural remedies and how you thought about doing that. So we're excited about that as well.
Well, I want to apologize to you lovely ladies first. I want to apologize to you off the bat. Believe it or not, I'm not looking like my Adonis self at the moment. For some reason, usually I have my beautiful mohawk hair, but for some reason, I can't seem to get a haircut. I don't know why no one will cut my hair. I've tried to get appointments. No one wants to do it. I don't know why. I don't know. So I'm going with the 1990s skateboarder kid beard look.
I love it.
I don't know.
We love it.
Except for my beard's gray, so I don't know.
How did you get started? How do you know that this is what you wanted to do?
It's kind of all I've ever done. I come from a generation of culinarians where, now it's you're more of a rock star in the kitchen. It's more of a, it's all about TV and getting your name out there and PR. I've been doing this for 25 years, man. I started cooking food because it put a roof over my head. It kept me warm. It put heat in my house. I did it because it was what I could do at the time. Now people, we talk about it on my podcast all the time with a lot of young people, young culinarians. They come on, they want to go to school, and they come out and they want to be, I want to be a TV chef. And I'm like, listen, kid, let me educate you real quick. That is the modicum of success that I've had is a byproduct of 25 years of hustling and busting my butt to get there. Like, you don't just make that happen. That takes a lot of work and a little bit of good luck on your side. So, we're lucky that we live in a time now where you can cook food, and if you can cook food and you can talk at the same time, people love you. So that's the good news. And clearly I can talk. I said all that in one breath, ladies. I didn't breathe.
I know. I wish. I can't do that. I'm one of those people that stalk my food. Like, I need to watch you. Are you going to burn on me?
Oh, jeez. Listen.
So I'm excited to get some tips and tricks in making sure that I can not burn my food in the kitchen.
So how did you, I always wondered, this might be a dumb question, but how do you know what to put together for taste? Because I'm a normal, I go to the grocery store and I think I know what I'm picking out and it tastes good, especially if you put barbecue sauce, seasoned salt, and ketchup on it. It tastes good.
Oh, you're killing me. Listen, great food starts with understanding a pH scale, right? pH scale. So I think of food as more science than art. If something is too acidic, then you add carbon to it or add, less acidity to it. If something is too bland and bitter, you need to add more acidity to it. So it's more about understanding a pH scale. I literally see it in my head. Like it looks like a little sliding thing in my brain when I'm cooking food. And when I taste it, which is, by the way, the key thing. Whenever you're making anything, you should be tasting it non-stop. Every step of the way, taste your food. If you don't taste your food, you don't love the people you're making it for. And trust me, they'll know. If you ever cook for me and it doesn't taste good, clearly you didn't taste it before you gave it to me. That means you don't love me. It's very, very simple. So put love into food, taste it, and take your time with it, man. It's food. That's not rocket science. We're not changing the world. We're just making food, for God's sakes. Relax. Just cook your food and stop putting barbecue sauce all over it.
But I mean, but I think that's so much more simpler said and done, because exactly what Rose said, you know, you go there, you have this idea, you bring things together, and you're like, man, okay, I have this ingredient, I have this ingredient, I want to make it look just like what we're seeing on your website, and then it just doesn't end that way. And so, you know, we get a little bit disappointed. So I'm like, how do you even garnish it to make it even look?
Yeah.
So with the pH part of it, how do you even start to understand that? Where can we go to get that information to even look at that as a balancing act with cooking?
The first thing you do, this right here, that's your tongue. That's what you taste with. That's what I have. Right? So you taste something. If it tastes bitter, you know it's bitter. You probably put a little lemon in it. You might be surprised yourself. Lemon is the biggest secret tool in the kitchen that people don't understand. I can take something that tastes a little bitter or a little too sweet, and I can add lemon to it or acidity and brighten it up, change the entire dish without making it taste like lemon. It's remarkable how it works. It's crazy when you start adding a little bit at a time. But again, if you taste it as you go, you'd be really surprised how much better things go. Don't taste it at the end. Taste it as you're making it, as you're cooking it, as you're seasoning. You'll always see a lot of great chefs. You know, my wife does it to me all the time. Like, I'll make dinner, and she's like, "You're gonna eat with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there." I'm eating the whole damn time. Like, that's what I've been doing the whole time. Like, I need a few minutes to just relax a little bit. But most chefs do. We always taste everything. That's why we don't eat till 2:00 in the morning, because that's when we're finally hungry, because we've been eating all night. You know, so it's always late night sushi and tacos, because that's what you can get at 2 a.m.
So I know the normal types of ingredients, like the normal seasoning, but really, I guess chef, because there's cooks and there's chefs. I know there's a difference. I've learned that. And it's experimenting. How do you know what to experiment with? Because you guys don't use the traditional things, I think, that we see.
You know, the world's definitely changing when it comes to food. I think people are becoming more educated when it comes to food. I think you're seeing, especially during this awful pandemic that we're in right now, which by the way feels like a movie. Like, is this real life? I never thought I would say that to somebody, like, be serious about it. But you know, I think you see a lot more people actually doing it and experimenting in the kitchen and working in the kitchen. To me, experimentation is a big part of it, but also it's a lot of just, you know, every great football player is amazing, and listen. All right, let me start that part over. If I'm an amazing NFL player, right? It's because I've played football my entire life, right? I've worked my butt off. I have a couple of really good friends who play in the NFL, and that's all they've done their whole life is play football. That's all that they've done. My entire life, all I've done is cook food. That's all I've done. It just becomes repetitive. Like, it's just something, you know, it's almost like a muscle memory. It's just, you know, you understand how to do things. You understand, you know, like the biggest thing is when the taste of food. You know, I think if you're talking about seasonings now, so what can be a special trick or something like that when it comes to seasoning, first and foremost, use salt. Like, get used to using salt on a regular basis. Used to it. Get used to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask about that, because typically when I see you know, on the shows, that's all they use is salt and pepper.
That's all you need.
Like, I like seasonings. I just need to go ahead and add a couple of the seasonal, like garlic, pepper.
Oh, come on. Listen. I'm on the East Coast. I'm going to come out West. I'm going to cook for you, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to change your whole mindset with this whole thing, okay? We're going to fix it up. You're going to change everything about it. Listen, salt and pepper is your best friend. Salt specifically. Salt really accentuates flavor, brings out great flavors, and can make things feel balanced in your mouth. Usually if something tastes bad, it's because it's not balanced, right? So for me, you know, every single time when I'm cooking, you're always seasoning and salting it. Now, you got to use your brain, though. Like, if I'm getting a beautiful piece of fish from the ocean, if I'm using a great piece of fluke or halibut or something like that from the ocean, it came from salt water, so you don't have to put as much salt on it. You know, it's salty to begin with. So you got to remember that. It's just understanding simple cooking techniques, just simple things, and, you know, understand to dry the fish before you put it in a pan, to, you know, make sure you use like a high fat content when you're making a burger. Just things that taste good. Why do we want to use the high fat content? Because it tastes good. That's why. Like, it's there's times in your life where you want to eat super healthy and times where you don't. And generally, most of the time, I don't. But, you know, you have to. I do get that. But, you know, I think it's about understanding ingredients, understanding how to season food, and understanding how to, in my book, tell the story behind the food. That's what I really enjoy to do the most.
So what brought you to actually thinking of going live, being competitive?
Well, I was a music theater major in college, my first time around. So I had great jazz hands, and I had a great, low D on my voice when I'd sing. So I learned really quickly that just meant I worked in restaurants. So I ended up taking the next step and going to culinary school. I applied and got accepted at CIA, which is like the Harvard of culinary schools. I got accepted. They told me they would take me, but I had to go take an algebra class in a college level first. And I was like, really? So I had to go do that. But once you start getting into it, and once you start understanding the actual, I've been doing it for 10 years before I went to school, like understanding what goes behind it, why you're doing what you're doing. Listen, I was a great cook my entire life. Like I've always been a great cook.
I was going to ask you, what is your story? Can you tell us a little bit about, you said you needed it to survive. So I love to hear that, because that's the entrepreneur spirit that drives us.
I'll tell you that. But just to, competitively, what happened was I learned about the food. I learned about why I was doing what I was doing, and I thought I could do it better than other people. That's why. And I grew up around some really bad food. So as far as, listen, food being there for me my whole life. I grew up with a single parent. My mom was an alcoholic. My dad died when I was very young. I have very vivid memories of waking up in the morning and making my own egg sandwich when I was like 9 years old. Because, I don't know. I didn't know if my mom was home. I mean, I can get really sad if you want, but I won't do that. But no matter what, the food was always there for me. Whether it was coming home from work and needing something to eat, or even going as far as being at a restaurant working or the hotel working, those were my family. That was my people who looked after me. Those were the people who would call me, who would make sure I was okay. So you learn to respect, man, and you have to have respect for it. Like I said, it's always done good for me. Food has given me a wife that's a 10. I'm a 4.5. My wife's a 10, right? And that's because of food. I have 3 amazing daughters because of food. I have a beautiful roof over my head because of food. I've been on so many TV shows because of food. It's been really, really good to me. And I think it's important to pay respect to that, and always tell everybody that, because it's a karma thing in my book, man. I think it's important, and when you find something like that you respect as much as you do, it's really hard to have a bad day when you're working.
Because it took care of you this whole time. I just love your story.
That's all it's ever done. That's all it's ever done.
How competitive is the food industry? Because there's so many. I watch a lot of stuff on just, there's so many different food networks now, and everybody's cooking, and every celebrity's wife is now cooking. You know what I mean?
I know.
So true.
It drives me nuts. Like, what was I watching the other day? I think it was like they had one of the Belle Biv DeVoe guys' cousins who was cooking, and I'm like, why do we don't even know this guy? What are we talking about here? It's because it's become a rock star thing, man. People love to watch it. And it's safe. Like, you can watch it with your family. You can, listen, between you guys and me, we won't tell anybody else. I just shot a thing for Netflix that's going to be really exciting. But, and the whole point of that is that it's all about, food. Everybody has a story with food in some capacity, some shape or form. Like, I didn't grow up in a house where there was amazing food being cooked and all these other things. Some families do have that, where amazing food is being cooked every day. But food always has a story for everybody. And so, I think that's the biggest thing I learned working in this project that hopefully will see the light of day soon. But pandemic kind of ruined all that right now. But where you tell the stories of people, where people can show how they have these family recipes and how they have these things that give them comfort, how that makes them happy, how it makes their family come together. Yeah. I mean, food is a powerful, powerful thing, man. It's super powerful.
That's so true.
So what do you think about some of these? So I watch, he's really vicious, but he has his own,
You're talking about Gordon Ramsay?
He's a sweetheart.
I love him. I just want to see him in action in Hell's Kitchen.
Okay, so he is, first of all, I mean, listen, you're watching a TV show, so it's turned up to 10.
Right.
He is a sweetheart, a super inspiring guy. If you go back and watch on the BBC, they did a show called The F Word on BBC. It's one of Gordon Ramsay's shows. Go back and watch it and watch how inspiring he is to people. It's amazing. But in American television, that's not exciting anymore. Well, it's starting to be exciting again. For a long time, it wasn't. But on that particular show, he's super inspiring to people trying to help young culinarians, young cooks, young families. Mm-hmm. It's a cool show to watch, and it's cool to see the different personalities, from him being like this hardcore angry chef guy to this really sweetheart of a guy. Now, listen, he can be very, very angry for sure, but most of us can. We all have a dark side, especially chefs.
Yeah, my favorite show is Kitchen Nightmares, just because to see that he goes in and help these businesses reinvent themselves.
That's
Love
such a
that
tough
show.
one, man. That's such a tough one, man. I don't think they're making them anymore, but you go in, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. It was a lot. It was really good. A lot of TV tricks in that show.
What do you say your most challenging dishes that you wanted to that you wanted to make? And I mean, because there's got to be something that there's something easy to everyone, and there's something more difficult, because you have. I mean, not every dish is the same. It can look the same on a plate, but the taste is so different.
Right. Listen, I mean, I think I'll try to recreate a dish as best as I can, but most of the time it's probably going to be 98% what it was the time before. Something's going to change a little bit. It's always a little bit different. Yeah. I mean, even you look at something as simple as a McDonald's. Like, listen, if I get a Big Mac at this McDonald's here, if I come over there and see you guys get a Big Mac, there's going to be a little bit of difference to it. I think it's always a little bit different. It's just kind of the same idea behind it, the same concept behind it. And again, more importantly, if that love is put behind it when you're making it, trust me, it doesn't matter.
What's your special?
I didn't really answer your question, but
what do you say your style is? Your style is. Your special.
So I used to always joke around and say my style is whatever it takes to get the job. As a private chef and doing what I have to do. I mean, I did a commercial once where I represented myself as being from the Midwest so I could get the commercial, which was hysterical because I'm not Midwestern at all. I'm way too outgoing. I don't know, friendly. What's the word? I don't know. I got a buddy of mine from Michigan, and he swears up and down that he's not Midwest. So I'm like, yeah, but I live in New York, so you're kind of Midwest. But specialty wise, I really harp hard on local, seasonal type food, hyper local. Like I'm lucky enough to I work out in the Hamptons all summer, which is the very end of Long Island. It's where all those housewives of whatever show go to all the time, out in the Hamptons. And I have some amazing farms out there. I get stuff from every day. I have a guy he's a scallop fisherman, so if I get scallops, I go to him and get them off the boat. It's just getting that kind of food. You can see some pictures there on the website. It's on your screen there. That's all local food. And the picture there with the rainbow carrot salad on top of it, right there in the center of the plate, right there, that is a grouper that was caught about 15 minutes before I plated it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, I know you said that you have a radio show.
Yes, ma'am. Plum Love Foods Live. We have 2 now. Actually, I'm about to start a 3rd, which is pretty cool. But Plum Love Foods Live, we are a top 200 iTunes podcast. We air every Thursday night, 300 and some odd hours of content. Been doing it since 2014. I've had everybody from Guy Fieri on to Chad Minton to Myron Mixon. I mean, we've had Manit Chauhan was on last week. Yeah, man, it's basically a bunch of chefs sitting around talking food and making terrible jokes. That's what we do for an hour and a half.
Do you give out like recipes or anything on that show?
Yeah.
It's more about the industry, because we have a lot of industry people listening. It's not a lot of like, let's talk about making this. We probably should do more of that, but we just started another show on a platform called Station Head, which is more of a music-based platform in partnership with Spotify and Apple Music. And we talk a lot about in a kitchen. Music is so diverse. I've worked in so many different kitchens across the country, and it's amazing how you go in one day and it's like you walk in the door, it's like Slayer, like crazy heavy metal music, and then later on in the day it's Casey and JoJo, and like you're like, I haven't heard that song in forever, and then you come back later on in the day and it's Stevie Wonder, and then you come back later on in the day it's the Beastie Boys, and then you come back later on and it's playing classical music. Like, what is happening? But that's a kitchen. That's what it does. That's exactly what it is, man. And it's starting this at such a young age, getting such exposure to all these different types of music really, really kind of influenced, what I listen to now in my playlist. And my kids hate me because it's just all over the board. But, the show we're doing with Station Head now is based on that theme. Like, it's just, there's so many different types of music, out in the world. And a kitchen's a very good, picture of that. And so we kind of talk about that. We have some unsigned artists, some bigger name artists on all the time, and we just kind of play songs and talk about stuff. And usually it ends up falling apart about 10 minutes left in the show and starts being terrible jokes and making fun of each other and all that stuff. But that's normal. It's fine.
Is there anyone you idolize, or maybe that's a strong word, or that you would say you would mentor from?
Spider-Man.
Yes. Inspirational.
No, well, that's very true, actually. Chef-wise, I'm a big Jamie Oliver fan. I think Jamie cooks the way I want to cook every single day. That's his whole, how he does his job, how he does what he does. Everything is local. Everything is like simple. It doesn't have a lot of like, let me make a big foam coming off the top, and let me separate this, and let me use some meat glue. Meat glue is a thing, by the way, and glue these 3 pieces of meat together and make it a perfect cube. Like, I hate that stuff, man. It's just not real. Like, I want real food on my plate that came from a farm, that I can tell you the story about the farmer, and I talk to my hands. Sorry, you see that? It looks weird. It's a weird angle. But
go for it.
I get fired up. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, Jamie Oliver's a big influence on me, especially when it comes to food, for sure. I love the guy very much. I'm one person away from him. I was the first American featured on Jamie Oliver's Food Tube, which I'm pretty proud of that, which is cool. I think the only reason he put me on this, I put my daughters in the video with me, and I had them smash eggs on me, which is pretty funny. But either way, very, very cool. Love Jamie Oliver very much. I think he's amazing. I'm also a massive fan. This is going to sound crazy. I don't know if y'all remember this. Back, I don't know, God, was it 15 years ago? The old Emerald Live show on where he had like Doc Gibbs and the band, and like there was a live audience, and he'd come out clapping, and he started talking some nonsense, and he was drinking the whole time, and I love that show. Was so far ahead of its time. I love it, and I'm hoping one day to do it myself. I want to do a version of that show because I just think it would be so fun to do. Just cooking great food. There's people around. Maybe have a musical guest come hang out. Basically, the Tonight Show with food. That's what I want to do. That sounds amazing. We just did it. We'll all do it together. You guys in?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Anytime you say food, I'm in.
Let's do
it.
So
is there any like dish that you made that was like one of your favorite dishes to make? And second question, does all chef know how to just cook everything? Like, I'm so serious because I really want to know.
So let's start with number one. I made a dessert in a competition that has now become a staple in my toolbox of tricks when it comes to cooking. It was a time contest, and I had to make dessert, and I didn't have a lot of time. I had about 10 minutes, and so I came up with this. For some reason in my head, I had a grilled cheese stuck in my head. And so I took pound cake and I roasted pound cake off in beurre noisette, which is basically burnt butter, brown butter, which tastes really nutty and sweet. It's pretty awesome. So I roasted thin slices of pound cake off on that. And then I took some mascarpone cheese. I sweetened it up with a little simple syrup, lemon zest, and vanilla. And I put that mascarpone cheese between the 2 slices of pound cake and put it in the oven just for a second. And I served it and called it a dessert grilled cheese. And people were like, what? That is amazing.
I love grilled cheese, so I want one.
Dude, dessert grilled cheese is where it's at. That's for sure. That dessert grilled cheese is where it's at. You got me all thinking about that now. I forgot what your second question was.
I know. The second question, does all chef really know how to cook everything?
Oh, no. Here's a great example of it. So if you go back and watch, I was on Guys Grocery Games a while ago. If you go back and watch the episode I was on, season 1, episode 2, one of the guys that's in there, we had to make a stir fry dish. We can only use 5 ingredients, and they gave you the 5. Did they give you 5 ingredients? No, they said you had to use 5 ingredients, and 3 of them had to be whatever they said. So the guy that was on there was like, he worked at a Hard Rock cafe or something. He was a chef at a Hard Rock cafe or something like that. And he was like, the only thing I know about Chinese food is, the number 5 at the corner Chinese food store or whatever. And I was like, okay, look, man, that's not okay. Like, that's not okay.
Right.
You can't
call yourself. Laugh. My bad.
No. Well, it's funny that he said it, but I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, you can't say you're a chef and not know how to make a damn stir fry. Come on. I mean, like, this is crazy talk. It's
right.
First of all, anything Japanese, Chinese, Korean, the 3 things you always start with are garlic, ginger, and scallions. Start with those 3 things, and I don't care what you're making, it'll taste like it's Asian food.
Love it. Ooh, you writing notes? Are we writing notes here, Rose? Writing down my notes.
Well, I've always wanted to know this. So I watch a lot of the cooking challenge shows, and then they just give you these different items of food, and half of them vegetables I've never even seen before, and you have to make. So my thing is, are they ever prepared? Do they really not know?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that for you. So, in Chopped, you legit don't know. But what does happen is you open the basket, you look and see what's in there, and then they call cut, and you close the basket. And now we're saying, okay, now let's get a shot of Rose opening her basket. Okay, ready? Open it. Look surprised, close the basket. Okay, now, and they just go down the line. So you have a few minutes to get your head together to understand what you have. You have about 10 minutes to figure out what you want to do before they say go. I did Cutthroat Kitchen on that show. They told you 3 days before what you left. They said, hey, make sure you know how to make X, Y, and Z. Make sure you know how to make those things. I recently produced a series called Elite Chef for this restaurant group, and we had seven chefs come out, and each chef, the chefs competed in restaurant-style food competitions every week until we had one winner who won a bunch of money. It was a really cool thing, and it got a bunch of reviews, and people really loved it, and they said this should be on TV. Anyway, but I didn't tell our guys anything. I said, you guys are chefs, you know how to do this stuff, and you should be ready for anything. I said, basically just know you got to cook every day that you're going to be here and be prepared for it. But also know that, as with anybody who's done TV in the past, especially when you work in the kitchen, something's going to break. That's just what they do. This is the drama. It sets it up. They want something to break. I was on a show called The Taste on ABC years and years ago. And, as much as I hate, the show's not on anymore, I'll say it. Total work, not real. Completely fiction, like not real. Like everything was a total work. Like it was crazy how much it was. I mean, these guys would set things up to break, and one of the girls who made it, one of the girls that made it forward on the made it forward in the show to the next round, she dropped a plastic top like the size of this in her sauce and just kept on blending it up and then served it. And I was like, are you kidding me? And they were like, this is great. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is terrible. But they were like, okay, let's take the pretty girl and move her on. And but everything I've done with Food Network has been real, 100% legit. What else can I tell you about it? I did Cutthroat Kitchen years ago, and I was doing really well, and then I had to play golf. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cutthroat Kitchen. It was a show where you had chefs competing, and they have a certain amount of money, and then you could bid on these things that would hinder your opponents. And so basically, these people, whatever money you're left over with at the end is what you get to bring home.
Right.
Which is funny because on Food Network, like it's all fake money, and like you don't get your prize money until like 6 months after your show airs.
I was gonna ask you about that. I was going to ask you about, like, do they really get your money, and do they really give it all to you? There's some taxes deducted? And all?
Oh well, no, there's no taxes deducted. You got to pay them on your own, but they hope you get hit by a bus. It took like 9 months to get paid. Like it's hysterical. When I won guys grocery games. The show shot. I think it's shot in July. It didn't air till December, and they say you'll get your money up to 6 months after the show airs.
Wow!
And you're like, really? I mean, they really hope you get hit by a bus. They don't have to pay you. That's what they want to happen.
Really starving. You made it up there, and just to win.
Yeah. They don't pay it. It takes forever, man. But yeah, so on Cutthroat Kitchen, I'd given some people on that show some terrible things to have to deal with. I took away their table and made them use a kilt that had a piece of cloth between it that had to be their table. It was hysterical.
Wow.
And so they got back at me by making me play golf with an egg. It was a par 3 with an egg. And in fact, if you don't get it in 3, you have to start over again or take a 5-minute penalty, which is terrible, terrible, terrible. And in the end, like, obviously I couldn't do it. So I just started hitting eggs towards the other contestants and everybody, just making a mess of the kitchen because I was so annoyed. But I thought it was funny to throw eggs at people.
So what is the pressure like, though? Because what we see, I'm sure it isn't the same as what really happens when the camera.
Oh, God, no. Well, you figure you do a show like, let's just use Grocery Games as an example. You see that show is an hour long. That was a 15-hour shoot day. It takes a long time. Takes a long time, especially if you win, because then they want to talk to you afterwards. You got to recap things because when you hear the shows and like they'll show them competing and chopping with a knife, and you hear the person talking, like the voiceover, be like, "Well, I thought I would use these peppers and cut them up." All of that talking happened the next day. Like none of that. Yeah, that's all the next day, and they put that in over it. So it takes a long time. It's fun though. It is fun.
I always wondered how they do that because they've done that on reality. So I thought, Okay, so now it makes sense. So are you rewatching what you've done, or they're just telling you to add in those narratives?
They talk to you about it. Like you have a producer talking you through the whole thing, and you just answer them and tell them what they're like. So tell us about the peppers that you use in your blah 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 dish. Like I don't even remember making that. And like, oh yeah, you made this dish and you used X, Y, and Z with it and blah blah blah. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And they talk you through it. It's pretty funny.
So are you one of those chefs that highly believe in just like eating super like healthy, or is it a mixture, or do you cater to both?
So I work out in the Hamptons, so I have to do a little bit of that, both.
Okay.
I do believe in living your life. You only get one shot at this, so eat your food. I don't eat any processed food. Everything I eat is pretty normal. I'll make dinner and using real stuff. I don't really eat a lot of fast food. I only eat a lot of like restaurant food like that. Everything's pretty. But I think you'd be surprised how much you can eat of good food like that and have it still be healthy for you. So I think keeping the processed stuff out's a big deal.
A big deal.
Do you ever feel like because you can actually cook for real, that when you cook for someone, you always have to really cook? You just can't throw out a box of like hamburger helper.
That's a good one. That is a good one, Rose. I mean, why can't you chef up hamburger helper? You can chef that up, right?
Look, no. No. I just said no processed foods, Rose. You weren't even listening to me. Now, look, first of all, I opened the whole conversation here by talking about using love when you cook. Hamburger helper's not love. Stop it. Just get out of here. That's not good for no one. Listen, I think as a chef, you have a couple things you have a few things that you can go to that are super easy. Like I made pizzas last night for me and the girls. I have a pizza oven in the backyard. So, making pizzas is super easy for me. But, getting the pizza oven going, that's all wood burning on it. It takes a little bit of time, but that's more time to drink wine. It's great. So I think to answer your question is I have go-to things that are simple. Like you'll see here at our house, we'll make a lot of like grilled chicken salads. We'll go make a salad and I'll go grill some chicken and that's dinner. Easy. We'll do, I'll make a pot of soup and we'll eat on that for a day and a half. It's pretty easy stuff.
Because you would think, when you hear pizza, unhealthy. But I think if, like you said, if you make it at home with natural ingredients and it comes from the house with love, then it's good.
You got it. I see you said it. You said it right there with love. You said it. That's what I'm talking about. That is the key. That is the key
with
to
love.
It right there. It's important. Listen, you have the best
get
two
that
kitchen
off of
tools.
Love. Why not?
The best two kitchen tools in the world you're born with is these two things right here, your hands, right? Everybody has them. Use them when you make food because that's how you put love in it.
Love it.
Okay. I know I'm not. It sounds stupid, but I'm being serious. I believe that wholeheartedly. And listen, I mean, so I'll tell you guys one more quick story. I do talk a lot. I apologize, but
no, go for it. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Oh wait, we can't hear you.
No, it's breaking up. We need to hear this story. Where did he go?
Okay, hold on, guys. We are having a little technical difficulties. He's here. Hold on. We can't hear you. The volume.
No. Plug it out. Plug it in.
Plug it in. He's just saying, even though you guys can't hear him, he's saying how fabulous we are. That's what he's saying.
How he loves being on our show.
I don't know that we can't hear the reception.
Okay.
We'll be right back, guys. Don't go away. Do not go away. Okay?
Because everybody is enjoying the show.
Yeah, that's fun from the Food Network. Oh my gosh, this is like it is so much fun. So, and he's on the screen, of course, and look at all this fabulous food. Yes, that we wish that we could all eat right now.
I know.
This looks so good. And of course, you know what? While he gets situated, you guys, so don't go away. For all of our listeners on your podcast or streaming live, and for those who are tuning in, let's go while he gets his technical difficulty situated. We're gonna bring up a video.
Yes, perfect.
Here we go, and you guys should be able to
make it big, Rose. There we go.
We're having a beautiful time out here.
Yes.
We're talking Portuguese wine. To me, Portugal is one of those places where it's a lot of rustic
Lovely.
outside, so I couldn't think of a better way to get some great people from TCM Wine Club to come hang out, and we're going to make a beautiful Portuguese dish with an even better Portuguese wine. We're going to make Portuguese fava. It starts off with beautiful pieces of pork.
Looks pretty
and a
good
really
to me.
awesome sauce that is incredibly easy to make. Portuguese food and Portuguese wine.
Look at that. How simple is that? Bread, wine, meat.
Bro, how can I make this work? And it came to me. When I have this particular dish with this wine, the flavors kind of marry together, and it's quite the dance.
It's making me hungry right now.
I know.
We're going to start this sauce off with a few drugs of good olive oil here. Now, if you want to measure it out, you could. It's about a half a cup or so. I'm doing this into a stainless steel pan because we're going to pop it on the grill and finish it off.
Take your notes, people.
Right there. Fresh
So
chopped
good.
up. Don't buy the stuff that's already chopped up. Fresh chopped. Portuguese.
Did you see Rose? Salt.
A little more.
Oh yeah, I saw the salt.
And the sauce.
Pepper.
I'm looking for the Lowry.
I know, right? Or the garlic salt.
Fresh oregano. Oregano is one of those herbs.
I see the little potatoes.
We have some of the best oregano in the world out there. And finally, hot sauce.
So you guys don't go away. He'll be right back.
I'm gonna have a teaspoon or so of paprika, juice of the lemon, and butter. There we are.
This looks damn good.
We're gonna put this whole thing on the grill and let it get nice and hot. If you use a pot, you can use a regular saute pan if you have it. Even if you have a stainless steel bowl, it works out great. It's getting there with all that oregano, there's bay leaves, and that garlic.
Okay, Rose, hurry up. When are you cooking for me? I'm hungry.
We're gonna put a little
Make
layer
that right there.
Right?
Actually, now seeing this video,
Take a big spoonful of your chopped garlic.
I mean, my
and of course,
my whole preparation table ain't gonna look like that.
You go ahead and make that for dinner and share it with me. I want to see it.
This is a traditional sandwich actually out there in Portugal. We're gonna do a little bit different with this.
I'm excited. Oh my gosh, this looks so good on the grill too.
Have that garlic and buttery smell.
It's like I can almost taste it right now.
Put that on there.
I know.
It has that fat in that oil. You guys may see a little flare, but it's okay. We're gonna flip it over. Beautiful.
Man.
It gets that
Yeah, that
really
looks
cool
nice.
orange color from all that paprika we have in there. I'm gonna put this down, put it aside, let these guys hang out
That's
for a minute.
Chef Plum right
and
there.
let's keep this alive.
This is good.
Oh yeah.
I can't even talk. Multiple-time winner on the Food Network, guys.
We're sorry to all you vegans that maybe you don't eat meat, but you can eat the bread.
Right.
You can eat the bread and just smell the meat.
Yeah, they could just dip it in that sauce, right?
We don't want to offend you. So Chef Plum's gonna be right back, you guys. So hold tight. So all you vegan, but this looks damn good. Right here.
Taking a bite of the dish,
Okay, Rose, we got to cater to the vegetarian. Find a video.
Okay.
We're creating that.
There's bread on there. There's bread. There's bread. Would you vegetarian? Oh, hold on a second. He is back. Just a second, you guys. Thank you so much. All right. And here he is. Let me tell you. There you go. We were just, dude, let me tell you something right now.
I am sorry.
We were just like having a ball with your food right now.
That's a good thing. Clearly, my food is way better than my technology, I promise.
Okay.
My
So
phone
we
just,
are,
I don't know what just happened. Everything just stopped working on my phone. I have no idea what happened.
okay, so yay! Black with Chef Plum, let's get you back up so we can talk about some more of your food. And everybody waited. They're so patient. We appreciate you guys. And they were just like enjoying
I'm sorry.
food. Really hungry. All right.
That was my fault.
She
I'm
had
so
us
sorry.
watching one of your videos, and we're like, we need to eat right now. We need to ship us.
We felt bad because we couldn't find anything for a vegetarian at the moment. So we told the vegetarian just eat the bread and drink the wine.
Right.
And that's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. You know, I don't know what just happened there. My headset stopped working or something. I don't know. So I'm using this computer now. It's an older computer I'm using that I have down here that I use for a soundboard. But we'll give it a go. You guys can see me and hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
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 All right, good. Good. I apologize, friends.
have you thought of doing any kind of like classes or mentoring for people who are wanting to, you know, for young people coming up? Because now you even see kids have their own little cooking thing.
I know.
Yeah,
They have their own show.
it's hysterical. I've done a lot of it actually. I've worked with a lot of kids. I've worked with a lot of families. I've been doing lately these what do they call them? They call them a virtual chef experience through this company called Hungry, where they want like the TV chef guy to come in, and basically it's like 60, 80 people on a group call on the computer, and they watch me cook, and they hang out, and basically, yeah. And I'm like, I make jokes and I act silly, and then we make a big dish at the end. It's pretty fun.
So are they cooking with you, or are you're cooking and they just watch you cook?
Some just watch, some cook along because we send the ingredient list ahead of time, and yeah, it's been pretty fun. It's funny. You see a lot of chefs do
that sounds like a little bit of a fetish.
Well, listen, I've been married a long time. I'll take what I can get. All right, I don't know. But it's been great. It's been fun. People like to watch along and learn. You know, I've done some mentoring with younger kids. I had them do some catering jobs with me and things like that. I had a friend of mine locally, she's not a little girl anymore. She's in high school now, but she was on Chopped Junior, and I kind of helped coach her for that. I worked with her twice a week for like 3 weeks leading up to it, just to kind of give her a little heads up, some cooking skills and whatnot. And basically, I spent the entire 3 weeks beating into her head she's not a chef. I'm like, stop calling yourself chef. You're a kid. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, I have learned the difference between a chef and a cook. Is there anybody that you felt like they wanted you to cook for them? And I mean, maybe you're just confident, but it just made you like nervous?
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. I cooked for Anthony Bourdain. I was nervous about that.
I would do.
I cooked for Michael. I cooked for Michael Jordan. I was a little nervous about that because I've always been a giant Jordan fan. Just what an amazing guy. He was at a restaurant I was running in Florida, and he came in, and I was so like, we had a table. It's called the kitchen table, like the chef's table in the kitchen, and people would want to sit there and watch us yell at each other on the line and get food that way. And so Jordan sat at the table with some of his family, and you know, they come over to say hi because I'm right in the front of the line, because most of the time the chef is in the front calling out stuff to the people on the line. Right. And he came over and he was like, "Chef, it was a great meal. Thanks for having us. It was so much fun." I was like, "Oh, of course, Jordan. We appreciate you being here." Like, I just called him Jordan, like as if that was his name. Of course. And then, like, the best thing I could think of to say was, "Man, I really thought you'd be taller." And I was like, really? That's what you thought to say to Michael Jordan right in front of you? Not like, "Hey, let's have a picture," or "Hey, could you sign this?" You looked at him and you said, "I thought you'd be taller." Ugh. That was a long night of drinking after that, just to get that out of my brain. That's the best thing I can think of to say. Like, come on. Who else can I think of? Oh, so I was recently, I did a gig, very, very small private gig over the holidays for Norman Reedus. The Walking Dead. Yeah. He and his wife, or his girlfriend or his wife, Diane Kruger. So I went to their house. I didn't talk to him. I talked to her the whole time, and I knew I was going over there. And you know, I was making food and getting the dinner party ready and whatnot. And he showed up. I guess he got home from whatever he was doing, and I was like, "Oh God, that's Norman Reedus. That's Daryl from The Walking Dead. That's Daryl from The Walking Dead." And in my brain, I'm just going, "He's not nearly as dirty looking as I thought he would be." And yet again, another person who I thought would be taller. Like I'm 6'3". Like I'm bigger than him. Like Richard Norman Reedus. You're supposed to be like The Walking Dead. Like, come on. But it ended up being
it's like Tom Cruise, how they add inches and he's like 5'5" or something.
Yeah. Well, hey, when I did Chop, they made me stand with my legs spread apart so I looked shorter, and they put the other dude on top of what they call an apple crate so he looked taller. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Really quick, how do you graduate from being a cook to a chef? Like, how does that transition? Is it the 25 years?
Listen,
like,
every good chef is a cook.
Okay.
Not every cook is a chef. How about that?
So does chef make, like, when you start doing the gourmet stuff is what makes you a chef?
The chef is generally who's going to be in charge, right? They're going to be the dog. They're going to be the lead and the dog in the kitchen, just like this. So listen, the three of us right now could go and study for 3.5, or was it 3 years right now, and go be PAs and work in a hospital. We could be physician's assistants, right? We can go do that and do a lot of cool stuff and still help people and do a lot of great things. But we're not doctors, right? It takes a lot more training, a lot more experience for that. So that's the kind of the same idea. It actually comes from a thing back in French cooking called the brigade system, where you have, it's almost like military-ish, where you have like titles. Everybody has a title, right? And then the reason why that is because what that does is it gives people to have ownership of what they're doing, and it lets you know who's in charge of what, right? So that way you always know who messed up. So you can go down to it. So it goes executive chef, chef de cuisine, executive sous chef, but not every place has all the positions, some places may have a chef and a sous chef, or some places just may have a kitchen manager, but usually the chef is somebody who's going to be in charge, who's got the most experience, who, in my opinion, I would say I would like them to have a degree, but not everybody does. But has paid their dues and has been around the block a few times. That's usually the chef. And if you're in a kitchen, if you watch it for 30 seconds, there's no question who the chef is. You'll see it real quick, real quick.
Okay. What about the people that when like you guys are in competition, the other people like they're just been. I mean, I know there's got to be some stuff behind the scenes, like where people are just like they shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, tension, right? Because I'm just like, I'm the best chef. You're the best chef. No.
Come on, ladies. All I do is run my mouth the whole time when I'm competing. That's what but it's part of my strategy. I literally run my mouth the entire time. I am just trash talking. I'm telling them what they're doing is terrible, or like you just kind of look at them and go, "Oh, that's what you're making? Oh, okay. Oh, okay." And this is the best one. You go like this. You taste. They're like, "Chef, taste it," because a lot of times you're kind of cool to each other too. It's kind of competitive. It's fun, but you'll taste something and you go, "Oh, you made that before?" You made that before?
Man, it's hardcore.
You got to be, listen, it's competing. I'm not there to take second place. I've had my fair share of wins. I've had my fair share of losses. And, a lot of times in this day and age, a lot of these shows, it's not really about your skills that make you lose. It's about the dumb stuff in the TV show that makes you lose. I didn't win Cutthroat Kitchen because I had to play golf for 5.5 minutes. So, it's the way it goes. It's fun. Makes it fun.
If there's anyone you could cook for, who would it be?
You guys, right now, let's do it.
That's what I was hoping you would say.
I'm excited. And where is my delivery? I'm waiting for this.
That's right. No, if anybody got love to cook for, who would it be? You want like a real answer, or do you want a funny answer?
Funny. I like funny.
You want a funny answer? All right. Yes. I would love to cook for Bob Marley. I'm a giant reggae music fan, and I'd love to cook for him. So I have a feeling like whatever I made, he would like it. He would be like, that's just so good.
That's crazy. You need to be where I'm at. I'm on the island right now. Yeah, and I eat really good food.
Oh my God. What island are you on?
Antigua. So Antigua and Barbuda.
What? I want to come.
Come on.
They don't let us out of New York. Listen.
Who cares about Vegas, Rose? Who cares?
I have good friends in Vegas. I think on a serious note, if there's somebody I could cook for, my father died when I was very, very young, and I love the opportunity to just cook for him one time so we could see kind of, what's happened and where I've come from and what I've taken this into, and I'd love for him to see that, and just, because he worked really hard, and just for him to see kind of how the black sheep of the family has turned out all right.
Yay, I love that.
Is there anything else you would have done aside from, obviously you say this was like this is your passion is why you're doing it, but there's something else you ever thought of considering doing had you not finished it?
It's funny because that's tough. It's a tough question to answer because it's a quick story, and I know we're going to get short on time, so I'll make it quick.
We like it.
Okay, so I used to really think about things I would try to do different in my life. I live in Newtown, Connecticut, and I have children, and we lived through 12/14 here. My kids had to hide in the bathroom when, a first grade class was being shot up.
Right.
It was really life-changing, really life-changing. I don't want to get emotional, so I won't get too deep into it, but it was very, very life-changing. And, it really kind of puts some perspective on your life when something like that happens. And, I was classically French trained. I used to yell at people in the kitchen and get angry about butter. And, it just, why would anybody get angry about butter? So once all that happened, it really kind of changed everything for me. And I stopped trying to think about what I would do differently or what I would change or, why would I yell about butter? It's food. It makes people happy. Like, our job in the hospitality industry is to make people happy. That's what we're supposed to do. Whether it's working in a restaurant, whether it's being a caterer, whether it's being a private chef, whether it's working on television, whether it's working in radio, your job is to make people happy, right? You can't make people happy if you have that anger in your heart, if you're always mad about something, if you always want to yell because the grill marks on the chicken breast aren't correct. Like, it's just ridiculous. And so ever since then, and thank God, like, my kids are okay, they're fine, and it changed my whole thought on everything. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't do anything differently. Everything I've done has led me to where I'm at right now, to talking to you guys, to, sitting here, hanging out at the house, like, so no, I'm very happy. I'm very content, living the dream. I wouldn't change anything.
Love it.
What about cookbooks, video?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on we're working on a coffee table book right now. I don't know if I'll ever do a cookbook. It's too time consuming. It just takes so much time to do it. I'm working on a coffee table book, which is gonna be really fun. It's called Culinary 101. It's actually based on a series of posts I did on Instagram throughout the years, which is basically, it's like Culinary 101. You can check it on my Instagram page at @chef_Plum. It's on one of the top saved Instagram stories you can see there. And there's about 30 of them, I think. And it's basically like culinary tips, but with a very sharp edge, I guess is the best way to put it, without calling people dumb. So that's one thing. And then, listen, there's so many other things and projects in the works right now. I just signed a deal with NPR to start doing a new show called Seasoned, which we're really excited about. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that, I think, in June. There's a lot of fun things on the schedule. I guess so. So
I listen to NPR all the time. That's why I was like, I'm a daily NPR listener.
Well, I never thought I would ever want to be with those guys, but they contacted me and they're trying to change stuff up and trying to be a little bit, just more fun. And I was like, you guys really want me to do this? And they're like, we think you'd be great for it. And so it's basically a show talking about local foods and where food comes from and telling people's food stories. And I think it's a pretty cool idea. So
they're very tangible.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people listen to that show.
It's a lot. You're right. It is a lot. It's a lot more than I realized. It's a lot. So we're excited about it. They talked to me right before all this pandemic stuff happened, and it was supposed to be they wanted to do a TV series, 12 episodes and 48 episodes for the radio. And it all sounded great. And then this whole thing happened and, kind of put screeching halt to every single project in the works. But, we're all happy and healthy. It's all we can hope for,
I hope it isn't too much to ask, but if you become like this famous reality or TV star that you just remember that you can like do maybe like Carol Burnett and pull your ear or something. I mean, you're like talking to us like,
give you a little sign.
Yeah, just give us a signal so we know.
We got to come up with it now. What would it be? What could we do? What would it be?
What is it, Rose?
You know what? You could like touch your nose.
That's right. So when I do Jimmy Fallon next fall, I'm gonna do this I'll just go just like this, Jimmy, and you guys know that'll be for you guys.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Ridiculous. I don't know.
Can someone only because we actually Jay Marshall is running here in Henderson. She's one of our electives. But you just said, how could someone like us meet you? Can we contact you and say, can you fly out here and cook for us?
Listen, there's always a ways to do things. I do a lot of charity work, a whole lot of charity work. So I'm always out and around doing things, whether it's doing stuff with the American Red Cross or working with the American Cancer Society. Doing lots of things. I do lots of festivals. I've headlined lots of festivals. Although I don't know if we'll have festivals anymore after everything that's going on. I hope so. One of these days, I hope they come back. But as far as doing gigs like that, hit me up on Instagram. You never know. We'll see what happens. You might be surprised what I'll say.
Did
I'm
you guys
looking at it. Is your Instagram the strong man looking one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
We had a fan of the podcast sent us all these comic book drawings of us on the show, and so
I love it.
and usually you would see like I said before, my hair is usually spiky and up in the air, but it's so look how crazy I look like Doc Brown just got back from the future. It's not crazy. It's not even making any sense.
This was really, I mean, you are so fun to have on this show.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I really hope that when you get, you finish your coffee table book and, because I'll be listening to NPR, that like you'll really come back. Some people just say, okay, but no, really. And we can have you like on our show and hopefully like maybe promote your book or something.
This is the last time I'm ever going to be here.
No!
I'm kidding. Come on. Nobody says that. That's why I had to say it.
So now tell everybody, tell the world again how they can find you, how they can reach out to you, how they can connect with you. Please.
First of all, you guys can check me out every week right here hanging out with these fine young ladies. I'm enjoying this conversation very much. You guys are the best. On Instagram at chef_Plum, you'll see me there. And listen, that's kind of the main thing I use. I have Facebook, but I don't really use it. The PR girl does all the Facebook stuff because I just don't do a lot with it. But Instagram is where it's at for me. Check it out there. We have a lot of fun. The summertime's coming up. We have a lot of big plans coming up this summer. We're very, very excited about. So I'll be in touch for sure. You guys are a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks again. Thanks for everybody who was watching live wherever you were, Facebook, YouTube, or on one of your favorite podcasts. We're here every Saturday. Check out our show page, entrepreneurlife.show, for our future guests. And obviously, you can just watch this over and over again. And there's a contact link here. So maybe if you guys want him to come and do something for you, maybe he might be higher.
Let's do it. Hey, and friends, remember this. I end my podcast every day, every week with this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, remember, food is one of the most important things we have in life. Everything important in life revolves around food. Let's make sure we give it the time it deserves. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Thank you
so much for listening, you guys. We hope you guys tune in next week, next Saturday, with the ladies of Entrepreneur Life with some more great guests on our show. Bye now.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Thank you, guys. Take care.